Alright, this is a walkthrough of Mastery Exam FB, Practice Version 1, Problem 2. And since Problem 2 refers to a graph, and it's just 4 questions about the same graph, I'm going to do all 4 parts of this problem at once. So here we have a function g of x given to us as a graph, no formula, and we're asked to find domain, range of g, estimate a value of g of 0, and state the value or values for which g of x equals 2. Alright, so again, this is almost more of a vocabulary question than anything else. We found out in the first problem in this exam, the domain refers to all the x values that give us outputs. And the range here, which we did not meet in the first part of this exam, refers to all the outputs that get attained. So let's take a look at the domain first of all. And I think I will switch to a nice green color here to look at the domain. So what x values give us outputs? Well, essentially, along here on the x-axis, it's labeled down here, I'll put it off to here as well. On the x-axis, if I go to a certain point on the x-axis and I can find a piece of the graph above or below it, then that x value is in the domain, because where there's a graph, there's a function value. So I'm looking across here for any x values that don't have function values. And I can see that there are no function values to the left of x equals 4 and no function values to the right of x equals plus 4. I mean to the left of x equals negative 4. So the domain does not extend to the left of negative 4, nor does it go to the right of plus 4. Now what about in the middle? Well, it looks like we're okay at negative 4. There's a function value. And every x value I see in the meanwhile has a corresponding output. Even the one here at 0, down here, that's where 0 goes. And that's going to be of use right here in part C. So, and it looks like the graph exists at every x value between negative 4 and 4, and including negative 4, and including plus 4, but nowhere else. So, in other words, as an inequality, then the domain would be the set of all x's between x equals negative 4 and plus 4, like that, with the equal signs. And we're asked to put this in interval notation, so that would be a square bracket to include negative 4, stop at plus 4, and include that as well. So there's my answer for part A. Let me go clear the graph off so I can think about the range now. So the range has to do with all the possible output values that I can have. So I need to almost do the exact same thing, except I got to look on the y-axis here instead of on the x-axis. So which y values get hit? Well, the lowest one that gets hit is negative 1. I do see that negative 1 is attained, but nothing below it. So negative 1 appears to be the lower. Let me put this in the same color as before. Negative 1 is the lower endpoint of the range. Now, how high does this go? Well, I see it goes up to, here's 2, it goes right up to 4, but does not include 4. See the hollow dot right there? That means there's no function value right there where the dot is. So it goes up to 4, in this case, y equals 4, but that 4 is not included. This is a parenthesis, not a square bracket. The negative 1 here on the lower end, though, is included because I see the solid dot. All right, so I'm looking here on the y-axis, and so this is kind of what I'm looking at to get my range here. I start at negative 1, almost end up at plus 4, but I don't have a function value there at 4. So there's my range. And we've kind of answered a couple of these, the last 2 questions in the process of answering the first 2. We're asked to find the value of g of 0, and that's just simply going to x equals 0. That's here at the origin, and finding the graph. Looks like there's 2 possible places, but this hollow dot up here means there's nothing there. Here's where the function value is. That's at a height value of negative 1. So g of 0 is negative 1. And now finally we want to state the value or values for which g of x equals 2. A common mistake here is for people to go and calculate g of 2, and that's exactly the opposite of what we're being asked for here. G of 2 says what's the output when x equals 2, and that's about a half, it looks like. But that's not what we're being asked to find here. We're being asked to find the x values that give us a height of 2. I think it's helpful to go here to my height of 2 and just kind of draw a little line, horizontal line that goes across both directions. And any place where the graph crosses or touches that line there, that would be, looks like here and here. Those 2 x values appear to be about negative 2 and plus 4. Those are the places where g attains a height value of 2. Right here, again, it looks like g of negative 2 is 2. It also looks like g of 4 is 2. So what are the x values? Negative 2 and 4. Those are the x values which, when evaluated in my function, give me a height of 2 here and here. And that'll do it for this problem.